What's going on, everybody? It's your man Cleveland Terry, and today we're going to be talking about the brand new Pioneer DJ XDJ RX3, the successor to the RX2, the two-channel all-in-one controller from Pioneer. How does it stack up? Let's talk about it. Once again, thank you guys for hanging out today. My name's Cleveland Terry. If you're new here, this is what we do. We talk about DJ gear, we talk about gig logs and tips and tutorials. So if that interests you, make sure you hit that subscribe button and hit that bell notification so you know the next time I post a new video. And I'm going to be posting several videos about this particular model because there are some things that are undefined right now. Obviously, we know that the previous generations were record box only. This one, however, is Serato enabled too, except it's not enabled yet. That will happen sometime in the beginning of 2022. But for now, we're going to talk about record box. We're not even going to talk about the software that is attached to it, the record box performance mode. Today, we're only going to discuss the hardware with the thumb drives, the basic standard record box way. Now, before we begin, this is going to be a quick video because, well, I just received this product, so we're going to talk about all the good features, some of the things that I've noticed right off the bat. Then later on, I'll give you a full in-depth review when I'm able to take this guy out to some of my parties and just put it through its paces to really get a feel for it. Obviously, the first thing that's new is this giant screen. Remember before it had a 7-inch screen, they've updated to the 10-inch screen, and what a difference it makes. It's nice, it's bright, it's responsive, it's a touch screen, which we should probably add right now, which is very, very important. It actually takes a lot from the CDJ 3000 lineup. And as you look through the board, there's several things from the CDJ 3000s that have been ported over to this new system. So right off the bat, I've used it for a few hours. I can tell you, if you use CDJs, if you use any of the 900 mixers, you're gonna feel right at home with this thing. The jog wheels obviously are smaller than your standard CDJs, but don't let that get in your way. They are capacitive, but they are very, very responsive. Been very impressed by these. And I'm not really a capacitive jog wheel kind of guy, but I do like the feel of these. Before we go into any of the new changes, let's just quickly talk about what this system is. And this is a two-channel all-in-one controller that's for record box. As far as your media is concerned, you have two standard USB-A drives, which can take a thumb drive and or an external hard drive. Unfortunately, there is no SD slot, which would have been nice to have. But what I do like is the second USB does act as a master recorder right into your deck while you're recording. On your audio input, you have two XLR combo jack microphone inputs, which is definitely a plus. And then you have your standard ins and outs, your auxiliary, your booth, your XLR outs, all the things that are on pretty much every professional board out there. You're gonna get them on this board. There's no difference. As far as the top of the board, as you can see, it's laid out very much like the 900 and CDJ 3000s, and I'm a fan of it. I just reviewed the CDJ 3000s a couple of weeks ago, and I was really, really impressed by the build quality and by just the overall layout. Now, the layout is a little different on these because we do have our pads below, not up top, and they are traditional pads, not buttons, and they're very, very responsive. On the jog wheels, you have the option of having your cover art or a custom logo that you can put on the jog wheels, which is a nice touch. As far as the markers are concerned, the markers are clear, they are easy to see, and like I said before, it is very, very responsive. Like every other Pioneer product, you do have the option of adjusting to light or heavy, the jog wheels, and then you have your reverse button. Now, the reverse button on the CDJs is a paddle, which I do appreciate, because unfortunately on this one, when you hit reverse, it continues on reverse until you hit reverse again. The CDJ had a reverse and you release it and then it goes back to normal, almost acting as a sensor button. This one, the secondary button is easy to forget and then maybe go longer than you'd like to. You have your standard hot cue, your beat loop, your slip loop, which is actually like a loop roll in Serato, and then your beat jump, the secondary pads. You have a gate cue, which will stop until you hold it down and then let it go. If you're not familiar with the way it normally works, on hot cue, if you hit the button, it will start the beat right off. So having that gate cue allows for a little more flexibility if you're not ready to bring the song in until you want to. The pitch fader is nice travel, not as smooth as your CDJ 3000s, but still, it's an effective pitch control. Now, the mixer looks like every other Pioneer mixer out there. This is the Pioneer way. And look, if it ain't broke, right? I am not a fan of the channel strip, the effect strip. I never have been. We'll talk about what they've done to fix that little thing in just a few minutes, because I do really love what they did there. But as far as the fader is concerned, because I know that's always a big deal for a lot of DJs out there, the fader's good. It's not a Magville fader, but I have no complaints over this fader. The up faders feel solid, definitely not like the Magville scratch faders, but they are smooth. And yes, you can still work an up fader. It just takes a little more strength. And then you have your headphone cue, and you have this little cue button. This little cue button, when it's activated, will allow you to preview a song just by holding down the relative song. I like that feature. It's been found on several other programs out there, but I'm glad that Rekordbox has it also. As I said before, you do have your USB input. You have 2 of those, but you also have the ability at some point to be able to run both Serato and Rekordbox. One of the things about this that makes this system great is you can run Rekordbox or Serato and USB all together at the same time. That's a very good feature. Let's head over to the browse window. And on the browse window, if you use the CDJ 3000s, this thing is going to look very, very similar because it's literally the same setup. You have here your ability to go by artist, by album, by track, by key, by playlist, and then by playlist, you can then go into your separate playlist. And like I said before, you can go down. The touchscreen is a little different than the CDJ 3000s because I feel, and I haven't used them in a minute, but I do feel that there was a swipe up. These are more of a touch down. They keep going down, but it's almost like a page down versus just being able to rolling swipe. That's why you have this control knob, and it works very, very well. On the control knob, you have your back, your tag. That's the ability to tag a song. So if you want to put that in your tag list, you just hit the button. It puts the little checkbox into your tag list. If you look in your tag list, there it is right there. Now, as far as loading in songs into the deck, you got a couple of different options. One, if you're scrolling through and you find a song, you hit the button, and then you can load into deck 1 or deck 2, like so. 2, if you are scrolling down and then you click on something, a secondary page pops up, and then you can load it into deck 1 or deck 2. Now, strangely, one thing that you can't do if you're using the knob is then select the actual screen. The touchscreen no longer works. So now you have to load the deck manually from there. So I don't know why that action is the way it is, but it seems a little backwards. Maybe that's something they can fix on an update. So before we get into the main page, also one of the new features that's been added on is your ability to create playlist banks. If you go into the playlist up top in the navigation, you'll see that you have 4 possible banks. You can choose your favorite crates that you want to use and then put them in here and assign them. So if I'm selecting Tech House, I can hit that button. Now that's in my bank. Go to Kaytranada, that's in my bank. Pop, that's in my bank. And Chill House, that's in my bank. Now, when I'm back in my playlist, I can jump from bank to bank. And that's why I was saying that this is very much a software enhanced system here, because it's all about efficiency and it's about bringing more intuitiveness to the system for the end user, you and I. Okay, let's load the song up so you can see what's going on here. You have your waveforms, which are very smooth. And as we update this, you can see the smoothness of the processor. Not really no stuttering. It's just very smooth. And you have the ability to go to this depth and to this depth. A couple of little things that they've done here. And some of you are gonna love it. Some of you are gonna say, why spend the time on it? And that is, you see what I did there? That is the timer. And if you click on this little remain right here, it'll bring up a secondary page. And this is a timer page. Now, why would you need a timer? Well, let's say for instance, you're doing a dance set and the dance set is 30 minutes long. You can put in here 30 minutes and hit that start button, and then it will time down to the 30-minute mark. One thing that I wish it would have done is provide some sort of a page display notification. Because if you're DJing, it's real easy to watch that timer go to 0 and then completely have no knowledge that it ended. So I would like something, that little thing that pops up maybe that I can X out real quick to tell me it's time, okay, let's go. Also on this page, you notice that your pads are now corresponding with your pads below. Now, let's talk about one of my favorite additions. And it's not like it hasn't been on other systems, but I'm glad it's on here. And that is, I, for whatever reason, have never been a fan of the channel strip. Never liked it. The beat effects strip, I'm just not a fan of having to kind of go through all these effects to get to the ones I want to get to. I like when the buttons are up top or somewhere where they're easy to get to. I've never been a fan of the off on. I don't know if it's on, I don't know if it's off. It is what it is. Everybody's different. This is the way that I am. Now, what's good about this update? Well, the beat effects have been placed into the software. So right here under this beat effects, which is also doubling as your status for your pads, if you click on it, you have this beat effects select. Now, these 4 empty boxes here are what make the magic happen, because I can choose any one of these beat effects and then press this button and it'll add it to the box. Here's what's cool about this. I don't actually have to be on Echo to use this strip anymore, and I don't have to activate it by pressing the button. And also, if you feel like customizing the way this is, the look, the feel, well, that's where your shortcut comes into play. And then you can change things like the vinyl speed adjust and then the EQ settings. If you're gonna do mono or stereo, for headphone split Q, you have your choice of either or. Your waveform colors can go back to the traditional blue or the RGB or the 3-band. You can change the brightness on both the jogs and the LCD. And of course, you can change the quantize. I made a joke from my guide Pioneer because it defaults to 1, and I just don't know why anybody would use 1 for a quantized beat value, because you can't do anything with it but 1. Oh, I didn't probably talk about the system and the search. The search works well. Let's see what we got here. As you can see, it's very, very responsive. Still not a fan of the spacebar being here. It's just, it doesn't make sense. See how quickly it loads. And we are loaded and we're going. Instant doubles. Loaded already. It's fast. It's responsive. We can hit that sync button, tie them all together. The displays in the middle, very nicely laid out. Timer, everything's right there. Everything just works very nicely on here. The weight, it has a good weight to it. It's not the lightest system out there, and it's not the smallest. It feels about the size of a Denon Prime 2. Another all-in-one competitor of this. We should probably just talk briefly about some of the things that it doesn't have versus what the competitors have. And one of the big things, obviously, is the lack of any type of streaming. That's a very big deal in 2021. So I hope this is something that Pioneer DJ is taking seriously, and they are figuring out a way to get some of this stuff into their older platforms and, of course, their newer platform, because, well, this one's coming out now. So they're gonna need a solution. The fact that Serato was on the plate is a very good thing, except for the fact that Serato's unavailable at launch. Like I said before, I'm going to be using this guy for the next few weeks. I'll start using it on the Rekordbox performance mode, and then as soon as I start getting some betas for the Serato build, we'll start testing that out. But I have been very much a fan of the USB sticks, the Rekordbox 6.0, and the ability to transfer all your files over efficiently, quickly. Like, I haven't had any issue with it. The touchscreen is great. The cataloging is great. It's easy to maneuver. It's easy to filter down. I have no issues with that. Unfortunately, there's certain things that I really couldn't test right now. Like, I couldn't test the sound, the output in a live setting. But so far, my first impressions are, it's a very good board as far as Pioneer goes. Delivering the best possible product at the safest, most efficient way. There's nothing wrong with that. Would it be nice if they did? 100%. But I can't sit here and say that this piece of hardware isn't a great piece of hardware. It's just lacking some things that some of its competitors have had and or have been upgrading to. So I'm a fan of what Rekordbox is doing. As far as their cloud services and all those things, I think they're moving in the right direction. But we got to find a solution for streaming. We need a streaming mechanism. It is scheduled to be released December, and the price point is $19.99 US. Guys, let me know in the comments below if you have any questions. I need you to put those in the comments. Very important that you put your questions in. I will answer them on the subsequent video when we go into true details about this, and I start to go, hey, you know what? I wish you would do this, or hey, this is kind of weird that it does that. Like, let me know in the comments below your questions, and we'll try to get them answered on the next video. All right, I think that's it for today. I'm looking at the number here and it says 43 minutes, so we're gonna have to cut this down because it was not supposed to be that long. This is supposed to be a quick video, not a 43-minute video. So I'm gonna try to get that down as much as possible. All right, guys. Thanks for checking out the video. If you found this video useful, hit that like button. If you found this video really useful, hit that subscribe button. Make sure you follow me on the Instagrams and the Twitters. Get on my Discord because that's where we're talking about all things Cleveland Terry. Guys, girls, always a pleasure. If I don't talk to you later, we'll talk soon. Peace.